What's cooler than a city cloaking its skyline in darkness for a good cause? Good evening, day dwellers and fellow creatures of the night. Welcome to Good News from the Goth, an unconventional place to find some silver linings in an otherwise doom and gloom dominated major news cycle. This may look different than what you're used to when you imagine the news, but if you think about it, who better to spot those pesky rays of light than someone who is accustomed to the dark? The little ray of light that caught my eye today shines out of Philadelphia, or should I say, won't be shining very soon. Philly is going to be dimming the major lights of its skyline to help migratory songbirds survive the night. Beginning this year, 2021, starting April 1st through May 31st, Philadelphia's skyscrapers are going to be turning off all of their big external lights between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. This may seem a little strange to do for songbirds that are up all day singing, so let me give you a little bit of background as to why this is really important for them and why it's super cool. This story actually started last October 2nd from not a very good news story. The residents of Philadelphia woke up to find roughly between 1,000 to 1,500 migrating songbirds littered on the ground who had perished in the night in their downtown. This is something that's only happened 2 other times in Philly's recorded history, with the last one being in the 1940s. So here are some facts about migratory songbirds that you may not know. Pretty much all of North America is covered with migratory songbirds. They have different flight paths, so most of the ones on the East Coast use a flight path called the Atlantic Flyway, and Philadelphia happens to be a major hub in the Atlantic Flyway, like one of the biggest hubs for the entire eastern part of North America. So scientists have studied how many birds, and they estimate tens of millions per year migrate through Philadelphia. The other fact that you may not know, but of course I think is really cool, is most of them fly by night. They don't migrate during the day, they migrate during the night. And the reason for this, I would love to think, is because it's just much cooler to go by cover of darkness. But the real answer is a lot simpler. Predators can't see them. So it is a lot safer for them to fly at night. So they do. And they're very well accustomed to flying in the dark, which warms the cockles of my heart. So now that you have a little bit of background info, you can kind of start to get a bit of a picture as to why this event last year in Philly was such a big deal. It was so big that scientists, ornithologists, and the wider birdwatching community from all over Philly got together to figure this out. The mystery wasn't that difficult to solve because past research done about dangers posed to migratory songbirds found that one of the top problems they have is collisions with glass and glass-clad buildings. Add in lights at night and the problem just gets a whole lot worse. Now here's where the good news starts to come in. While solving the problem of daytime collisions is still a bit of a tough nut to crack, nighttime collisions have a solution that is as easy as flipping a light switch, which is literally what this new program in Philly is all about. It's called Bird Safe Philly. This is a collaborative effort between a fair number of groups in the Philadelphia metro area. I'm going to just read them because I don't want to mess up the names. So it's the Academy of Natural Sciences at Drexel University, Delaware Valley Ornithological Club, Audubon Mid-Atlantic, and the Valley Forge and Wyncote local Audubon Society chapters are all promoting this program. The goal of this program is to get as many people in the Philadelphia metro area to either turn off their lights or dim their lights between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. during peak migration periods of the year. So the inaugural migration event for this is in a couple of days, or by the time this video up has just started. It's April 1st through May 31st. And then again, it will be happening from August 15th until November 15th. The fall migration is actually the bigger migration of the year because the numbers just work out that way. Birds have babies in the spring and there are more birds to travel in the fall. The really cool thing is that a lot of the big buildings in downtown Philly have already voluntarily signed on to do this. So you will notice a difference starting April 1st in the Philadelphia skyline. Some of the buildings that have signed on is Comcast Tower, the BNY Mellon Center, and the Liberty Place buildings. And furthermore, they're encouraging their tenants to also dim their lights as well. The big buildings will be dimming their atriums, their lobbies, their crown lights, and any other external big lights that might attract birds and confuse them during the night. The very best thing about this story, the thing that makes it really good, is that anyone can sign on to do this. If you happen to see this video and you live in the Philadelphia metro area, you can go to birdsafephilly.org and sign on to turn off your lights between midnight and 6 a.m. starting April 1st through May 31st, and then again August 15th through November 15th, and you can help save a ton of bird lives, little bird lives. Birds that could possibly be singing outside of your window in the morning. You could totally have a hand in helping to make sure that they get there. You can also, if you live in other areas, there are other cities doing this, so you can go to the Autobahn website, and the program there would be called Lights Out. So you would find a Lights Out for your city. Like New York has a Lights Out, Chicago, Lights Out Chicago. I know that there's a Lights Out in Texas, but I don't remember which city it is. And hopefully, there's a city near you who's participating in this. If you happen to already be signed on to the various Lights Out programs around the country, I'd love to know how it's going in your area. If you know of numbers of birds that, if there's been a reduction in numbers of collisions in your area, or just generally how things are going with that. This could also be a really good opportunity to get out and explore the Philadelphia goth scene. With the city going dark between midnight and 6 a.m., it's the perfect opportunity to go find a goth night around town and dance the night away to some really good music. Thank you for taking a little bit of your time to watch this video. I hope that it brought a little more light to your day. My goal with these videos is to shine a bigger spotlight on good news stories that don't quite get the recognition that they deserve. If you would like to see more stories, hit the like button or subscribe, and the next time I find a good story and get excited and make a video about it, it'll show up in your feed. Until next time, remember that contrast is one of the great spices of life, so always try to be the mixture of light and dark you'd like to see in the world.